Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 975. I got asked a really interesting question. Someone PM'd me a really cool question, and it was about EA. Now, first things first, a little bit of history. We all know that EA very recently put out a statement saying that in the very near future they will be going digital only. Now, this is a massive point of contention amongst gamers. You know, we don't want digital only. I guess in some degree we accept that we will probably eventually end up there, but as traditional gamers and certainly people of a certain age group who grew up with certain systems, you know, that is just something that horrifies us. We do not want. Now, I went shopping with my brother earlier on today, and we were in Tesco's, and they had the box art out for, you know, for the new FIFA that's coming along, and my brother's an absolutely massive FIFA fan, and he picked it up, and it was weird, maybe it's a twin thing. As he said, you know, our new FIFA, sweet, it just rolled off my tongue without me even thinking it, which was, I fucking hate EA. And he was like, dude, what's your problem with EA? I just went, they're everything that's wrong with the modern game industry. I said, they're casuals and they don't care about the customer. It's their way or not at all. They know best and you should shut up. And he goes, yeah, but not everyone is like an old school retro gamer like yourself, you know? And I thought, that's a really sort of good observation. Maybe I'm being I'm taking the moral high ground because I associate and surround myself with the more innocent time of gaming. And he said, you need to look at it from the point that most other people look at it, which is, they make good games, we'll pay for them. And so it got me thinking, and then I got this PM and someone basically said, do you think gaming or the games industry, both in general, would just be better off if EA weren't around? Now, my take on that is this, and I've openly said this on the few videos I've been watching and leaving comments when I found out about this, you know, EA's going digital only. I actually thought, well, you know what, EA, I think you really underestimate the sort of passion that people have, you know, for, you know, solid copies of their games, and how they do not want to get to this state where it's digital only. I think you really do underestimate that, and while it might not kill you, I think you would definitely take a hit in the pocket or be surprised at the backlash that will come your way. Personally, I hope it's horrible to hope that anyone collapses, because, you know, there's people, jobs and lives involved, but personally I hope they fall on their sword. But then I thought a little bit deeper, and do I think gaming would be better off without EA? And that's it. That's why the question's not such an easy question to answer in a nutshell, because bottom line is, if you remove their sort of unethical approach and cash whoring ways to gaming, EA are an important company, a professional company, and a shit-hot gaming developer, you know. And not just now, way back in the day, they produced some genre-defining titles that made everyone else step up their A game. A couple of examples are, you know, on the Mega Drive, the original Maddens. You know, this was a wake-up call for American football. Same goes for the original FIFA. The fact that we I myself turn my nose up at these year in, year out, you know, repackaged, you know, re-released versions of these games, I guess in some degree it's just a victim of their own success. But, you know, EA is important, and they have done a lot of good for gaming. And I piss and moan, you know, a lot about EA, but I have a lot of their games. I absolutely love Battlefield Bad Company 2. I love Battlefield 3, you know. I love the almost all the sports games they did on the Mega Drive and the SNES. And this is where the one part of me thinks it would be a shame if EA weren't around, if only because they force everyone else to raise their game. You know, there is a knock-on effect with a company that produces as good games as EA. You know, forget their approach, you know, to profit, move that aside. There is definitely a good beneficial effect to EA existing, because they make everyone else have to step up their A game, and they in themselves do produce absolutely fantastic games. Now, this is where I'm conflicted, because I openly admit at the same time, like, EA, you're cash whoring, money grabbing bastards. Your approach, which is do it our way or shut up, is so disrespectful for your customer base. And I think at the end of the day, any company, industry, should have respect for its customer base. But this is where I think possibly the industry would be better off without EA, because when you have someone as successful as they are, they become like a template, don't they? And so any other sort of companies will look at them for every move they make, and as soon as EA do it, these companies will be looking at it and thinking, right, EA just did that. You know, if they did that, there's a reason. You know, should we do this? Should we think about doing this? You know, and it's this knock-on effect that I just think is bad for the games industry, and why I could probably, you know what, yeah, I'll say it. I think modern gaming would be better off without EA. As I said, if you take their product and ignore their policies and just think about their product, they do amazing products, and they have done, and they definitely have their place. But this behemoth they've become is, they're out of control, they're crazy. You know, they believe their own hype. They've got to the point now, which I guess you do when you're as successful as they are, that they're untouchable. It's their way or the highway. And it's that I see is damaging and negative across the entire industry. And yeah, I think gaming would be better off without them. I mean, if anything, personally, if they do go to digital only and they do end up falling on their own sword, I think that would be good. Simply because it would be a wake-up call for the industry, and it would be like, pay attention, people, no one's made of Kevlar. So yeah, in answer to this guy's question, do I think gaming would be better off, or the games industry would be better off without EA? Yes. You know what? I will miss aspects of them, particularly back in the day, and it would be a shame that we lose such a good developer. Before I get slated for that, as I said, you need to draw a line here, people, between their product and how they market their product or treat their customers. You know, I do think it would be a shame to not have products of this quality, but at the same time, it would be, you know, a leveler across the playing field. People would have to pay attention and realise that you can't openly shit on your customer base and treat people like cash cows. Anyway, waffling, my thoughts, just my thoughts. What are yours? I'll see you later.